Hello, and welcome to an episode of Todd Talks and Todd Talks People Listen. In my power. Hopefully. Yes, I know, Baby Yoda, not Jerry the Mouse. It's as close as I got on hand. Today, we are talking about the very fun episode that just dropped, Wile E. Coyote versus Tom Cat. And yes, I lost. Yeah, my first official loss of the season, because remember, I abstained in a past episode. Yeah, it was Kyle Simone, because I was just like, something was going to break. But, yeah, I've lost. I have finally taken a loss this season. I can live with this. But the fight itself was really, really fun. And I want to start this off not by doing a breakdown, but actually by thanking Luis Cruz, the animator for the episode and animation director for all of Death Battle. Luis, you crushed it. You did a great job. The animation, the references to all the past cartoons, the various spells and such. It was great stuff. And that ending, I honestly didn't even see it coming. I'm like, oh, they're going to do this. Oh, dang, did that just end like that? Very unexpected. Very Looney Tunes and Tom and Jerry. So props to you, sir. One of my favorite things about the episode outside of the fight, obviously, was the fact that they went so deep into the breakdowns for Tom and Wile E that they actually touched on things that I brought up in my prediction video that I honestly didn't think they would touch on. You might in the breakdown text on the right, they noted that Wile E. Coyote was inspired by Mark Twain, and I was like, I mentioned that. And then they did the Chuck Jones novel, or the Chuck Jones rules, which I really didn't expect them to do, but those rules were a key factor in Wile E winning, and I was like, that's awesome. Like, I love that they referenced Chuck Jones. Chuck Jones is so important, and for those who still don't understand, like, again, rewatch the episode, he's basically one of the fathers of Looney Tunes in many respects, especially Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner, and even worked on Tom and Jerry. But like, he's so important, so I loved that they referenced him, because I'm smiling probably throughout the whole reaction video here. But I wasn't expecting that, and of course they referenced Space Jam. They referenced the new Tiny Toon Adventures, which I honestly had forgotten had come out. I bet it's on Hulu. Honestly, it's Warner Brothers, so probably Max, wouldn't it? Yeah, I forgot. But they referenced both versions of Tiny Toons. I'm a little surprised they didn't do Lunatics Unleashed, but, you know, that was technically a different version of Wile E, but still. But yeah, they referenced like everything that mattered about Wile E, and then they did the same thing with Tom. And I literally had just heard about the Tom and Jerry gotcha game from China, because of the G1 blog, because they said he got upscaled because of a gotcha game. I'm like, what gotcha game is that? So it was awesome, and I loved it. And then using Space Jam to help assert that Wile E would win? Who saw that coming? I mean, I love it. And for the record, Space Jam 1 is forever better than Space Jam 2. There is no Space Jam 2. There is no Warren Boss Sing Say. There is no Space Jam A New Legacy. All right, it stopped at Space Jam 1. That's all we need. But yes, I like that they were like, well, he has harmed other tunes when not using Acme products, even with using Acme products, like blowing up the Monstars in that one shot, or scoring a bunch of baskets and whatever in that one movie that I'm not mentioning anymore. But I love that. But I also appreciate that they took the time to acknowledge the fact that Tom has won. And I mentioned that. You know, Tom has caught Jerry multiple times, and he's worked together with Jerry, and he's beaten, you know, Spike and apparently Droopy and, you know, certain other classic cartoon characters. And, you know, so Tom's competency was something that they had to take into factor, while Wile E being nerfed by God. A god named Chuck Jones. Hey, he had his own show, literally called the Chuck Jones Show, showing his best animations and stories and such. So, you know, that's godly respect. But it was just so fun. I loved it. I loved how they had to break it down, and it makes sense that the arsenals went in Wile E's favor even without the even with the Acme stuff. I did not know about the Looney dissolver thing. I also didn't think that would matter. Even if I had known about it, I'd been like, okay, he has this, but that just means he's going to use it on himself, and then Tom will take advantage, which they did say was a way of making that work. So I'm not mad that I picked Tom, just because they, on both sides, they went so deep into the lore that I didn't even think about the fact that the rules technically only apply to tunes like Bugs and Roadrunner, whereas Tom technically would not apply to the rules because he's not the main prey of Wile E. Coyote. Super genius. I love that they worked in the voice lines. I'm actually surprised they got away with that. Come on, you pigs, who wants to live forever? No, it was apes. Come on, you apes, who wants to live forever? And they did the Tom scream. Everyone wanted to hear the Tom scream. Well, I'm glad that they did that. Just like in the signs, take this and some of this and a little of this. See how you like it. Yeah, and that ending was so perfect with the house dropping out. I'm like, oh, here we go, and then it squashes Tom, and I'm just like, that's blood. Holy crap, is Tom dead? Very unexpected, very Looney Tunes and Tom and Jerry. It's great. Am I sad? Yeah, I'm sad because I really wanted Tom to win, and I know I'm not the only one who wanted Tom to win. Just see my comments for the last one. And I really thought he did, but it's nice to know that after all these years, Wile E did get that victory. Well done, super genius. Now stop buying Acme products. You clearly don't need it now. Good times. I'm definitely watching that later tonight again. So, next time on Death Battle. Yeah, look. I'm a fan of Death Battle. I love Death Battle. I do. I want to work for them. I've made that clear multiple times in the past. There are times when I'm like, why are they doing that battle? And we have just crossed that because for the first time in the independent era, I'm actually not that thrilled for what comes next because it's Miles Morales versus Deku. And just to get it out here, I'm a little sad about this because we just had Deku in 2022, so that's less than 3 years ago. And yes, I know they did the same thing with Omni-Man. But you also argue that Invincible's still really popular and Dragon Ball. So, I'm not sure why they're doing this one. Let alone so soon after Shigaraki versus Mahito, which was great. I'm hoping it's a sprite fight because I don't want, no offense to Moro and the team, I don't want Moro's talents wasted on this. I think there's so many others he could do. Lazan! Where in the hell is Luz versus Ann? We need Owl House versus Amphibia Death Battle. Come on. I don't doubt that. I think what they're doing here is that, you know, My Hero Academia is about to get its final season aired. The manga is done so they can finally tell like the whole story because it obviously wasn't done in 2022. And they know that these characters are popular, but they know that the Deku Asta was one of the lower tier episodes in the eyes of many fans. Many are probably still mad that Miles lost to Static, even though that was totally the right verdict. So when he added, also there was the second Spider-Verse movie, so that gives him more footage to work with, because the original Static Miles was in 2020. So I get that there are reasons. I think it's too close to Shigaraki Mahito. It was only about 3 fights ago, so 2 in the same universe. I don't know. I just think that there were other matchups that they could have done, but you know, maybe this was one that they had planned back in 2024 before the hiatus went up, and they're just like, maybe this is one because they have the research. Like, it's literally, hey, here's our research from before. What's the new stuff, and does it contradict what we said before? So we'll see. I have faith. It's just this is the first time in a while that I could say like, oh, I'm not actually excited because you know, it's not a case where I don't know the characters well and I need to learn more about them, or you know, it's a highly anticipated matchup like with Simone versus Kyle. It's just meh. We'll see if the episode changes my mind. And with that, I am ending this episode of Todd Talk. I am pronouncing every syllable. Bloopers reference. What did you think of Wile E. Coyote versus Tom? See, the smile's back on my face. Did you like how the animation style? Did you like how they did all the references? Did you like the explanation for why Wile E won? And are you excited for Miles Morales versus Deku? Let me know in the comments below. So, thank you for watching. You made it as far. I know you were listening, and I'll see you around. That's all, folks.